Hey guys and gals, Trevor here. I'm driving back from Eugene, actually, the Eugene airport here in Oregon. And I've spent the week in Dallas, Texas at a mastermind. And we also had a big Carrot client gathering, which was a blast. So if any of you guys are listening to this podcast episode and you had a chance to meet Adrian, myself, Janelle, who's on our team and lives in Dallas, and Austin, who's on our team who lives in Dallas. They're both full-time Carrot team members and they live in Dallas. But if we had a chance to meet you and connect with you and shake hands and hugs, then it was amazing connecting with you. But on this episode of the Carrot Cast, what I want to talk about is kind of a core thing in my life that during the mastermind sessions this week, it came up over and over again, but this is a core thing in my life that's really led to more happiness. It's really led to more success. It's led to more financial success, if you want to look at it that way as well. And it's actually very counterintuitive, but it's not something that you've never heard. So this is something you've heard before, but I know I heard it for many years and I ignored it. I thought, well, that's not for me. Well, I'm going to do this instead. Well, I can actually beat the system. And I think a lot of you guys are thinking the same thing. And if my voice sounds a little bit weird, I've been talking a lot the last 5 days and a little bit hoarse right now, but we'll get through it. And if you guys are new to the Carrot Cast, every now and then I do what I call Trevor Truck Talks. I'm actually in my truck driving, and it's just such a great opportunity to reflect and get these thoughts out of my mind, and hopefully you get some value out of them. But so what I want to talk about, it's raining outside actually right now, so if you hear any of the rain hitting the windshield, that's what it is. But I'm hands-free, so we're going to be safe. I want to talk about how it's really easy in life to... Let me say it the right way, because I think if I say it the wrong way, you're going to kind of go, yeah, I already know that. But I thought I already knew it too, y'all. So one of the hardest things that I have found in my life to do is to focus on fewer but better things. Okay, I remember let's go back into my story, and you guys have heard it on some of these episodes of the Carrot Cast, where in 2010, 11, 12, around that time of my life, I was, from the outside in, I was doing well financially. I was mid-20s and making low six figures a year, taxable income, and doing well. And the work that I was doing was decently exciting. We had a great customers and great companies and things like that. But what happened was I kept on finding all these new opportunities to go after. I think anytime you get a little bit of success, it seems like you think you can take everything on. Okay, this thing over here looks awesome. This thing over here looks awesome. Man, I have this skill set and I can crush it there because I'm crushing it over here. And also, that's not just for people who've had a little bit of success. I think that's something that's a very crazy common trait for people who haven't had success yet, because what's happening with them is they're getting distracted by all these things because they don't know what will work yet. So they're bouncing from this thing to this thing to this thing to this thing, okay? And they don't give any one of those things a chance to really start, let alone thrive. And so when I was running my business and starting my businesses before Carrot, what I did was I branched off and starting other businesses. I started business number 2 and I started business number 3, and I invested money in this business over here, and I bought this piece of real estate over here. And it was kind of me feeling that I was like that serial entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur, it's like you're this superhero that can do anything, and the more businesses you own, the better. It's almost like entrepreneurs a lot of times in those phases of life when they're not fully secure in who they are, they're not fully secure in what they're doing, they're not fully secure in what their true passions and purposes are. Oftentimes, and I'm not going to say this blanket statement that this happens with everyone, but oftentimes what happens is we go out there and try to fill those voids with new opportunities and new businesses. Okay, sometimes it's because we're not crazy passionate about the business we're in. Sometimes it's because you get bored of it because the work that you're doing is not your unique ability. It's not the stuff that you're insanely good at, but fires you up and gives you more energy. So what do? You find another outlet that's going to give you that energy because you love the startup. Okay, so talk with a lot of guys in the mastermind. Some of the mistakes that they had made as well was they had too many businesses going on, and they had to go through a period where they had to trim things down and cut off the fat. And I know for me in that 2011, 12, 13 period, what I did was I went from basically my consulting company, my publishing company, kind of my catch-all company that everything has started out of, 2 software investments, and some other consulting businesses outside of my primary consulting companies, the ones I partnered. I had like 6 or 7 different things going on. And my primary income was my publishing company. My primary active income was my publishing company that paid me low 6 figures. My consulting company netted me low 6 figures. Okay, and it was a lot less time, but I didn't really dig it because I didn't find a way to surround myself with people at that time. I had to put my head down and just do the work. So I wasn't really digging the consulting part. I loved selling the consulting agreements, and I loved strategizing it, but I didn't love doing it. So that's why I didn't really build that side of the business up. So what I had to do is I read this book. I referred the book. We've actually had the author, Mike Michalowicz, on the Carrot Cast way back in the archives. If you go look within the first 20 episodes of the Carrot Cast, go to iTunes or go to carrotcast.com, and you can find that episode with Mike Michalowicz. But it's about his book, The Pumpkin Plan and Profit First. So around this time in 2012, I think it was, I had read the book, The Pumpkin Plan. And you can actually find the first chapter of the Pumpkin Plan online for free if you just go to Pumpkin Plan PDF. Just go Google that, the Pumpkin Plan PDF, and you'll find the first chapter. And honestly, all that I needed was the first chapter, because page 16, I think it was, in the first chapter is all that I need. That's what hit me. And then the rest of the book gives a bunch of stories and examples of how people executed that pumpkin plan. And so at that period of my life, and I've told this story lots of times, I kind of had this reality and mortality check, because a really good family friend of ours, young guy, 3 kids, married, died suddenly in his backyard. And that hit me hard, because I knew that I wasn't really going out there and living the way that I should be living at that point in my life. I was wasting time. And also, I wasn't insanely happy with my work. We were doing good work, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't coming home and being fired up and charged by the work that I was doing, even though I was making good money. Even though everyone told me I was doing great work, and that oh my gosh, you're so good at that stuff. So what I heard that drove me to the Pumpkin Plan, actually, was this video on YouTube, and it was this guy who he was a general or an admiral in the Navy, I can't remember. But anyway, this guy, he was giving a commencement address at a college, and he went on to talk about his experience as he was going through the military early on in his career, when he was going through boot camp and things like that. And he said something effective, he joined the military so we could go to war and we could defend our country. And he said they really drove into the ground during boot camp, and boot camp's not an enjoyable experience, he said. And one of the things that they would be doing early on in boot camp is they'd be thinking, it's like, why do I have to learn how to fold my clothes? Why do I have to learn how to make my bed? Why do we have to have everything so perfect and precision-like with our folding and with our bunk and with every single thing? Why do we have to do that? We came here to go to war, okay? And what he said was really, really powerful for me in that moment. I'm going to lead to why way too many of you are focusing on way too many things. You need to simplify life, and I'm going to show you how to simplify life with a very, very specific set of action items, okay? I can tell you, simplifying your life is going to put more money in your pocket. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more present, and I still have a lot of room to grow there, big time. Your business is going to be stronger and more stable, honestly, okay? You're going to be making a bigger impact. All of those when you simplify life the way that I have done it, and take notes from other people too. But what he said was this. He said, once he got to war, he realized in a very, very, very clear sense why it was so important to do those little things and declutter and take away things from his mind. It was because when you're at war, he said he didn't want to be in the foxhole with someone who did not take care of the little things. He didn't want to be in the foxhole with someone who did not take care of the little things in the morning, who did not get up and fold that bed, okay, who did not get up and fold the clothes, who did not get up and do the simple things that put you off on the right path on the day, that are little simple decisions you can make that start off on the right way. And if you don't make those decisions, it's really easy for you to go on and fall off the track the rest of the day. And it's also really hard to make big decisions later because you're already putting off those little decisions. Or on another side of the same coin is when you have all these things cluttering your life, all these businesses, all these different strategies that you're doing. You're trying 6 different marketing strategies at once. None of them are crushing it yet. You have 3 different businesses. None of them are crushing yet. Or you have one business that is crushing. You get distracted by adding a second core business on there. what happens is it drowns out our thoughts. It makes it to where we can't be our best anymore. It makes it to where our brain is being distracted by all these little things, all these little decisions, all these things that we now have to think about. And when you have to do that, what happens? Your brain continues to think about those little decisions, and it doesn't give you the mind space to be able to think about the big stuff. It doesn't give you the mind space to be able to really dive deep and figure out how to move mountains. The important things with family, things with friends, things with your business, things that you may be able to come up with a strategy in your business if your mind space is open that changes the game for you, that's 1/10 of the work but 10x's your income because you thought about it, because you gave your brain this powerful machine that we've got in our noggins that most of us don't use well enough because we've got it so cluttered with crap. Here's kind of an analogy for you. And this is mainly for people who are PC users, but it also applies for Mac users. Is if you ever found yourself with your computer, sitting there on your computer, and you're getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated. You're banging at your computer. It's taking way too long to load. You pull up a new, you open up a new application to use something, or you pull up a browser, and it's just sitting there loading, and it's loading. It takes 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then it finally does, and then you use it, and then it kind of freezes for a little bit halfway through, and you open up another application. It does the same thing. It's a little bit slower. By the end of the day, you've wasted a lot of time, right? There's a lot of time when it was just wasted time while that thing was loading. But the worst thing isn't the time that was wasted. The worst thing is that computer is running slow because it's getting completely bogged down by all these processes running in the background, when the thing that you're supposed to be focusing on in that computer, the thing right in front of you, is not really getting the bandwidth and the energy, the usage of that memory in the computer that it should be. So what happens? It bogs down, it gets gummed up. Sometimes you see the blue screen of death and it turns off. Our brains are the same way. And that computer can't do its best work if you've got 25 applications open. That computer can't do its best work if every single time it's going to switch a task, it takes too long. It bogs down, it stalls, it delays. And that computer can't do its best computing power if it doesn't have all of its computing power available. If you try to do a video, let's say you're trying to edit a video or do something that's really, really intensive, play a big video game on there, but you've got a bunch of other clutter in the background, what's going to happen? That video editing software is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's probably going to crash. What in your life right now is not working because your brain's too cluttered with small things, because you need to simplify your life. And the reason it's cluttered with a bunch of stuff is because you are overcomplicating. I was listening to this interview with a guy named Dan Sullivan. He's an amazing entrepreneur coach. And I ended up joining his coaching program back in that period of my life in 2012 when I was way, way, way too cluttered. And he talks about this thing called the entrepreneurial time system. And it sounded so amazing to me because he's basically saying, by the end of going through Strategic Coach, we want you to be regaining your time back. We want you to have, it was something crazy. We want you to have like 20 weeks per year that are 20 or 30% of your, whatever it was, 20 or 30 weeks per year of free time. And they consider free time something a little bit different than maybe you're considering. It's not just going out there and just messing around. Free time is anything that you really, really enjoy to do. It could be reading. It could be just doing any of that kind of stuff. But their goal is to really take it from where you are in your life, way too cluttered, working way too much, thinking you've got to be doing all these things because that equals success if I'm doing more. They take it and add in a ton of free time with time blocking, with removing things that are cluttered, not high priority, with really casting that vision, going, what actually fits directly in that vision? And I did a podcast episode not too long ago, 4, 5, 6 episodes ago, that talk about some simple mindset hacks and tips to really get your mindset right for the year. And one of those is writing your vision story. It's something I do every single year. And I write a vision story for the 20-year time period, for the 10-year, for the 5-year, and for the 1 year. And go find that episode. It's called, like I said, it's called something like Simple Mindset Hacks or something like that. 4, 5, 6 episodes ago. And it's going to walk you through my vision story process. That helps you declutter, because when you know exactly what you want, it's easy to say exactly what you don't want. It's easy to say exactly what doesn't fit into that. Where I see people get distracted, myself included, is when I don't have a clear vision on where I'm going. That's where you're looking at driving from Oregon to New York City, okay, but you don't know how you're going to get there. You just know you're going somewhere along the way, you're going Oregon to New York. But then you kind of get distracted in Idaho because the map doesn't say go this exact way, so you get distracted and go down this side road, and it ends up taking you too long. And then you get back on the main road and okay, I'm going this way. And then you're driving through Wyoming, and you don't really have a path. You don't really have the GPS telling you where to go. You're just kind of driving. Then you take this side road again. You take this exit. This thing distracts you. That stuff happens with us all the time. So if you don't have that vision story to relay back to constantly, it's something I look at every single month. And anytime that I'm lost or cluttered, I go back and read my vision story because it inspires me. It gets me focused on what's important. So what I did is I read that Pumpkin Plan book. I trimmed everything out of my business and life that was not serving me or that vision. I got rid of all of my shares in my primary business, my primary income. I kept a couple consulting clients that paid really well because I liked doing, but then I brought someone in to help do the actual execution so I could focus on what I like to do the most. I still have real estate that was bringing in some sort of money. Okay, and then what happened from there was I said, okay, I decluttered. Now, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, please help me see the best opportunity so I can really serve and help people. And I want you to know that this wasn't a period in my life where I had hit rock bottom or anything. It wasn't. The good thing was I recognized this and got the right people around me, got the right coaching, and made the right decisions before I really hit that rock bottom. Okay? Oh, another hard decision I made too is right at that start of the year. I said, all right, I'm selling my shares in my primary company. I'm going to be getting rid of everything but my real estate. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep a consulting client or two for now. And then I'm going to keep my kind of catch-all business where all my other stuff comes in, because I still have a few grand a month coming in from that stuff very passively. So I'm going to keep all those things. And then I'm going to figure out what my one business is going to be, just one business. And then I start that business and I said, I'm going to find one marketing method. I'm going to focus on that one marketing method this year. And I'm going to take that one marketing method as deep as I can take it and crush it. Way too many people go, I'm going to do this marketing, then a week later they try to do this other, and they try to do this other. You can do that. You can. But I think what happens is we get distracted by going to masterminds like I was in, and you see someone who closed 102 deals last year, and you ask what kind of marketing they're doing. They're doing 6 different types of marketing. And you go, oh, that's what I've got to do to be successful, I guess. Well, that's what that person's doing now, but what you don't know is how they built up to that. Maybe they were just doing one marketing method for 3 months, and that got them their biggest results. And then they systemized it. They put it into a process. And then they added on a second marketing method at month 5. And then they perfected that one because they got the right people around them. They invested in it. They trusted the math. They systemized it. They got marketing process number 3 in place at month 7. So that's what you don't see behind the scenes. So here at Carrot, I focused on one marketing method for a year, went deep, became the best in the world at it, which is content marketing and SEO. That was something I was already good at, really good at, where we said, we're just going to focus on this one. We're going to be the best in the industry. Once we got good at that, we created a process. Then we added a second marketing method on. Then we added a third, like 7 or 8 months later. And we're just now adding our 4th marketing method right now, 4 years into this business. And the best real estate investors, the best real estate agents, the best entrepreneurs I know, simplify. Heard from a really good mentor of mine that happiness is on the other side of simplicity. Happiness is on the other side of simplicity. It's not the other side of complexity. What a lot of us try to do is when we feel like we're bogged down, you feel like you're run down, you feel like you're getting burnt out because there's a lot going on. You're working your 60 hours a week. What a lot of us try to do is we try to add something else in. We think, man, if I just get someone to do this work for me, then that's going to solve it. Now, that might be the answer. But what if that work that you're getting someone to do for you isn't even work that you guys should be doing in your business at all? What if that's a complete distraction from the core thing in your business that's going to be giving you the most money, building the best part of the business? That happened to us in this company in 2015. We had a lot of people tell us, man, we want you guys to run our pay-per-click marketing. And we want to do it too. That's something we're actually running pay-per-click and SEO for a handful of our highest end clients. They pay about 30 grand plus a year for us to do that, each one of them. And it's a dozen or so of those clients. Not cheap, but we're amazingly good at it. But we tried to start that in 2015. Now, here's the funny thing. We have the skill set to do it. We're the best in the world at some of that stuff, okay? We know exactly how to do it. We know exactly how to crush it for those clients. What we didn't have is we didn't have the team members or the structure, or even it wasn't the right timing to start it. So what happens is we bring on 10 or 20 clients, and honestly, we didn't do very good. We weren't charging enough to really serve the client well and make it so we could hire the right people to serve the client well. We were bringing in the wrong people. We didn't have good client communication set up. We got some insanely great results. Others didn't get so good. So we had to kill it. And that's one thing we did is we said, hey, this thing is making us some money and clients want it, and it's something we're really good at. So is this something we should hire someone right now for? Or should we kill that and go focus back in on our core? And I'm so glad in 2015 we killed it and focused back in our core. We could have made $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that year on doing those services. But it enabled us to make millions by not doing it, by simplifying. And that's what I mean by happiness and prosperity is on the other side of simplicity. You have to bust through this wall of complexity, this ceiling of complexity. If you feel yourself getting burnt out, if you feel yourself hitting a wall in your business to where you can't grow anymore, it's because your business is too complex right now. You need to simplify. You need to cut out the things that maybe are making you money, but might be distractions from your core that if you just focus on the core more, could do way better for you. So what distractions do you have right now? Okay, go get the book, The Pumpkin Plan, or at least go read the first chapter. Okay, we have a couple blog posts about it. And go find the episode of the Carrot Cast. It's one of the first 20, way back in the archives, with Mike Michalowicz. He talks about this. I have a chance to interview him. And then quit trying to add things back into your business. Quit trying to add things in your business. Now I'm going to leave it with this. A lot of people will say, Trevor, but Richard Branson owns like 85 businesses, and he's one of the most successful and seems like he's insanely happy. And I will say 100% yes. Elon Musk owns Tesla, owns SpaceX, is one of the core shareholders in Solar City. He started the Hyperloop thing, that idea, and someone took it over. So how is this guy able to run $3 billion plus businesses? Trevor, what about that? Well, there's some situations that are different. So with Elon Musk, he doesn't have a life. He works 100 hours a week. And also, his entire mission on this world in Earth, which is an insanely worthy mission. I'm glad someone's doing it. It's just not for me. Is to help humankind become less dependent on these fossil fuels, because he believes that that's going to help the world, of course, and then to get us out of dependence on just being on the Earth, get us into the solar system, get us into Mars. So he truly believes that mankind is resting on him solving these things. Okay, whether that's true or not, I'm sure it can be debatable, but he truly believes that in his core, and he's created so many followers around him that truly believe that too. They're willing to follow him to the end. That's why they work 100 hours a week too. So if you want to tackle these 2 or 3 businesses, you better be so convicted at your core on the mission of each one of them that you would die for the mission. Okay, he's not doing it for the money. The money happens to be the result because he's thinking so big, because the mission's so big. If you want to run these 2 or 3 businesses, it better not be about the money. If it's about the money, you're going to drive yourself into the ground. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be miserable. And then you're going to be going, man, why are these guys bigger? You're going to be comparing yourself to other people, and you're going to be miserable. Okay? Richard Branson now. Let's go look at him. He looks like he's insanely happy. He has a lot of free time. He's also a billionaire. Why does he get to own 80-something businesses? It's because he's chosen in his life, and he's identified what he's insanely good at. And he knows clearly what he's not good at. He doesn't work in his business. He doesn't work in his business at all. His whole core competency and what he's insanely good at and what he's fired up about and what he does in his business right now is he's the visionary, He's the PR guy for a lot of it. He gets the Virgin brand out there. And he's insanely good at inspiring amazing leaders and getting them to work for him. And then helping to make sure that they have the ability to go lead that stuff that he appointed them to do. Okay? Richard Branson's not owning, or he doesn't run these 85 businesses. Okay? He doesn't run those. What he does is he finds great opportunities. He uses his unique skill set to go out there and find people who can lead and run those opportunities for him. People that can do it way better than he can do it. He compensates them well. He inspires them. He gives them the tools and builds a team around them to succeed. And then he pulls back and he lets them do their work. So if your situation is different than any one of those, stay with one business right now. One core marketing idea until you nail it. Simplify that stuff, okay? And do the same thing in your life. Rather than going out and meeting with a different friend every month, every week or whatever, and not really going deep and building a relationship with any of them, why don't you go really deep and meet one person every single week for lunch for the next 3 months and really go deep on that relationship? That's something that I've started to do in my life because I was really, really bad at that on the life side of things, where I have a lot of really good friends, but very few really good friends. You know, if that sounds weird, it kind of is. Like I've got a lot of people I would consider good friends, but very few that are just like know me at my core. I mean, like probably 2 or 3, if that. So I've started to go, hey, you know what? These are the people I really want to invest in. I want to really get to know better, and we have weekly lunches going. So what can you do in your just your main life to simplify? So I'm going to give you that call. I'm going to give you that call to action there, because I can tell you I have a lot of room to grow there, but I can tell you that when you simplify rather than adding on, life is so much better. And if you are thinking about the money side of it, if that is your motivation, you're going to make way more money too when you do it that way. Okay, now what would my next move be here with Carrot? Let's say I wanted to start another company. What would be my path to make sure I'm still keeping life simple, but then making my impact happen and doing that? What I would have to do is I would have to build an amazing leadership team at Carrot. Someone that's going to come in and lead this team that's 10 times better than I ever could be at leading it. Okay, make sure that they have the ability, the resources, the power to fully lead it without me micromanaging it. And then I would set up meetings with that leader once a week, once a month, whatever it would be. Probably be once a week at the start, and then once a month as we go. And then I'd figure out what are those core numbers, those core metrics that I would need to see on a weekly or monthly basis to make sure that company's going in the right direction. Okay, and then I would have the ability to now go, okay, I'm not working this business at all now. I spend less than an hour a month on it. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to focus on this other thing. Okay, so it's a stark difference from what most people are doing. And kind of going back to the start of this call, the mastermind. The mastermind is so amazing. There's so many people. It's called the Investor Fuel Mastermind. Really, really great people. And a lot of people had focused in and crushed it. Some people weren't staying very focused and they got scattered, and they were doing a lot of things, bringing a lot of revenue in, but not making a lot of money at the end of the day, not having a whole lot of time for their family, and not having the happiness and impact that they thought they would have when they started this business. And I can tell you, one big way that's going to solve it is going simple. All right, so go back and listen to the archives, y'all. I love having you here. It's an honor for me to be able to be on this podcast with you. When I was down in Dallas, got to meet with so many amazing customers. We had a Carrot client get together. There are about 30 or 35 amazing clients, and that inspires the heck out of me. And some of our team members who have never really met clients, they were insanely inspired, and it pumped them up, because I can tell you it's like such an amazing feeling being able to go and connect with your clients, people that work with you and pay for a service that you've created, and engage with your team. It's so rewarding when dozens of people come up and they're not just saying, hey, you guys are a great service, I love it. It's literally, hey, it changed my life. Hey, this service, you guys, not this service, you guys, your culture. I heard that so many times. Your culture has changed the way that I look at business. It's changed the way I looked at my business. It changed the way that I look at life. We heard that so many times. That's why I do what I do, y'all. That's why I do what I do. It's to really help inspire you guys to go do business and go do life better, so it can serve you, so you can serve other people. So you can have that consistent, predictable income, so you can actually have the freedom, flexibility, and the finances to go do what you want to do, so you can go and make the impact, and you're not saddled by things that aren't important, by all this clutter. All right, so I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. My voice is getting ready to go out. And I love you guys. Go to iTunes, please. Please take the 5 seconds. If you haven't done it yet, consider this your payment. If you got any value out of this, go to iTunes and give us a rating and review on this podcast. So I do notice them. I read every single one of them. Okay, every single one of them. And I so appreciate the heck out of it. I mean, that was some of the most amazing stuff when I was at the Carrot Client Gathering, just being able to hear the impact we're making from people. Don't think that we know the impact we're making, y'all. Okay, we hope we are, but we don't know it until people let us know how we're impacting your lives. All right, so go give us a rating and review right now. Please take that 5 seconds. Do it. We love you. Have an amazing rest of the week.